trip it is.
Heart so big.
Hello, welcome to our podcast, Let's Review. My name is Richard Brito, and I'm the co-host for today's episode. In this podcast, we will review any and all types of media, including film, television, and live performances. From reality TV shows to blockbuster horror films, no genre is off limits.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luke Reosti, and I'm also the co-host of this podcast. And in this episode, you're going to find out what we think of the Abracadabra official music video by Lady Gaga and find out some notable fun facts and any info about the behind the scenes.
We also have a special guest for today's episode, Ernesto Medina. Welcome to our show. I'm so happy to have you.
I'm back
On with us.
again.
Yeah.
Back
For
again.
episode 3, to review and bond over our common interest of Lady Gaga.
Yeah, we'll be definitely bonding over this album.
Yeah, I love it. It's great energy. So, before we start, I want to talk about a few things. So far from the album, what are your top favorite songs from Mayhem?
There's just like right now I'm vibing with so many of them and I don't want to pick one and then like
Okay.
feel
No, you're
stupid
right.
about
You're
it.
right.
You know?
I know, right?
Even on my first listen, that song Killer was like I was like, okay, this is a slow one, that's fine. Now I'm obsessed with it. So I don't want to like
She
you
said
know,
it
I don't
multiple
want to
times
commit
too.
too early.
Yeah, no, I feel that. But here's the thing with songs, like some might stand out to you now or might not stand out to you at all. And then later it's like, whoa, what was I? Like it was just wrong timing, like for you. And every song has its place. So I'm
For
excited
sure.
as time goes on, like what stands out for us. The only one that like really made me sob, and I mentioned this last episode, The Beast. But I still need
Mm.
to listen to it from the perspective that Ernesto said, and then from
Yes.
the perspective that Lady Gaga said. So,
I feel like
anyways,
maybe if you
mhm.
listen to the lyrics very like deeply, you may get more of the feeling that you're getting. I get the sexual, like very intimate. Next time you listen to it, look at it that way and see what you think.
Yeah, definitely. So, what would you want from this era? Like, what would be some wishful thinking?
Honestly,
Like,
I just want a good tour that we can dance at,
yeah, I feel like that would be a really good time.
and it's coming.
No, I agree. I want some American tours. If I can, I'm gonna front the money for a ticket. I don't think I want to, have to pay for that international flight too. So I'm hoping that
Yeah,
she
yeah.
will come to Florida.
There's no way she's gonna do Coachella, Mexico, and Brazil and not do the rest of the world. So she's definitely coming.
She did say that
Exactly.
she owes some promises to some places that, she
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
cancel. So she definitely has to make those
Those Brazil
promises
monsters
happen.
deserve it.
I do want to ask, which songs do you think you would want to see music videos of next, aside from the ones that are already out?
I think Garden of Eden's needs one, right?
Yeah,
Zombie
definitely. To
Boy
see
needs
the
one. Shadow
visuals,
of a Man needs one. Blade of Grass needs one.
visual
They
artistry.
all need one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Perfect Celebrity is gonna be the next one
Yes,
though.
yes.
So there was on the previous episode there was a point, there was 2 points that I wanted to talk about and I only ended up talking about one. But now for this episode I wanted to bring it up. I thought Telephone, I was so happy that they brought that up for Telephone Part 2.
hmm
And then she said to like do the collective like reaching out to Beyonce to make it happen and then I thought, "Oh, it could still be a part of Mayhem and have that like unhinged factor where it just like is put on deluxe." I don't know. I would if I was an artist, I had the opportunity to collab with Beyonce not once, not twice, but like I mean, it's been I think one time only with Telephone, or has she had other collabs aside from like
They did
not just
Video Phone too, but it wasn't as mm, good
Well, that
as
was on
Telephone.
Beyonce's album too. That wasn't even on
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Lady
yeah.
So I
Gaga's.
would definitely collab as much as possible. And the fact that Lady Gaga is into it, we just now it's all in Beyonce's court. So we need to
Yeah, I
definitely
love that
push for
she's
that.
leaving. I love that she's leaving that option open. I think we're a little delusional to think that it's gonna happen, but I do like the fact that she's keeping it open.
Yeah, and then we were also talking about it in episode for the first episode how Beyonce and Lady Gaga were like the two dream artists, and I
hmm
think it would be in this era that we're in right now, like 2025, to see what collectively they would do. because who they were, like they've just transformed so much throughout the years, and like their career has been, 20 plus years. I,
Yeah,
I I think that would be such a dream, and I think her continuing to like take us on that ride of like, oh, they might happen, it might not. Like, I think she's teasing it that it will happen.
I
I
agree.
think
I hope
it's
it happens
motivating.
naturally though. I hope it happens like organically because I feel like
Yeah,
at that level, those two artists like that, like if you force it, I feel like it might not be as because how do you do a part two for telephone? You know what I mean? It's really that song, and when it's just hard to like replicate something that feels cohesive with that, but it's not the same.
yeah.
And then the expectation is so high that I feel like that's why artists have a hard time like going back. It's the same thing with art pop. Like how do you go back and do art pop too? You can't really do that.
I was gonna say she brought this up exactly in that conference when she said that if she ever did like Art Pop 2, it would not just be I'm gonna go back into my vault and take the songs I didn't use and then repurpose
Right.
it with a similar sound. It would be like, okay, like I'm gonna totally like make something new for this. And I think that this goes to show with the fact that like she like basically lives her era and then puts a period in it and then closes that chapter, and that's
Hmm.
also life. Like it's not like we're gonna be like, oh, you loved the person that I was 10 years ago, let me just like go back and then be that person again.
Right.
So
That's why
like
I mean that it has to be organic.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. But something that comes to mind, like I am not, out of this world songwriter, but I started and the starting process has been like from 2020 where I started like actually like writing poems, and then I went into songs and for the TV shows, like the pilot prototypes that we have. And I was going through my notes like recently trying to clear out like a bunch of stuff from 2020 to 2025, and it could be personal or professional or whatever. And I was seeing a lot of the stuff that I wrote like 5 years ago, and I was like, wait, this is actually pretty good. And, we could really be critical of ourselves and put stuff away and scrap it. It might not really, resonate with us, or maybe it was a truth that you didn't really want to face and you wanted to stay in that denial, not wanted to, or maybe unconsciously or whatever. But sometimes, like, going back and reading those things, it puts into perspective like the place you were at and why it was scrapped,
Mhm.
and it could be really like transformative, like reflecting on that and then being like, yeah, I did a right thing on like scrapping that. Or it could be like, whoa, I was onto something 5 years ago. Like maybe like continue that. And it's never too late. Like these are all chapters of your life. And at the end of the day, like who you are now is your best self, and you want to continue to be a better person every time, and that doesn't mean that you have to like scrap your past. But I think what she's trying to articulate is that the quality in her artistry has evolved so much. If she were to release that, it might just be like, you should have kept that in the vault. Like for instance, something that came to mind was the song with Miley Cyrus, like Doctor, like I could be your doctor,
Hmm.
something like that. Like I thought it was super catchy, super
Oh,
fun, like
Pharrell.
freedom, yeah. But it wasn't like a major hit because it had like the Flower effect, where it's like Flower was like her big song and it was overshadowed, or like anything that she released was being overshadowed by it. So they were sort of like waiting out to like. I mean, I don't think they were that like strategic with, in the sense of that they thought about all those things. I think they were just more like, I want to release it, let's release it. Like I think that's really cool, but a lot of the audience members or people didn't really like resonate with the song. If they
I,
wanted something more.
like I was gonna say like I think that what you're talking about is kind of encompassed in like also just time passing in the music industry. People were criticizing that song from Miley Cyrus and Pharrell because they were like, oh, this song felt like it came right out of like 2010s or something, which is when Miley supposedly was like writing that song. And now that we're like halfway through the 2020s, you could kind of look back at a sound and be like, yeah, that sounds like it was made in 2008.
Hmm.
That sounds like it was made in 2012. Like there's a very distinct stylistic choice. There's also a degree of like, if I did revisit this and re-release it, it would definitely be referential at this point. It wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this is so 2025. Like, oh, this sounds like classic. And that's not a bad thing. She has obviously done that for multiple songs on this album. Like Shadow of a Man feels like it was literally written like with Michael Jackson, you know?
Hmm.
It's obviously, and there's a lot of 80s and 90s
The whole
references.
thing feels very 80s. Yeah.
And so I feel like if that ever happened, it would probably be like 2035 and Gaga is like, in this when it was a lot more retrospective for her. because that stuff is still fresh.
Yeah, a song that I heard today was the Dolly Parton song that came out too, because her husband passed away, and that song also made me like actually sob. Like I sobbed for that one way harder than the Beast, but now
Which song?
let me actually look that up.
The
What
one
it's
with
called.
Sabrina Carpenter?
No. She actually released it like post his death. He died.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was a song dedicated to him.
Yeah,
I
I hope
think.
I hope she's not dedicating the one with Sabrina Carpenter to her dead husband.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
wrong
didn't see
context.
this.
Yeah,
I
It
haven't
has
seen
yeah.
her.
that either.
So it's called If You Hadn't Been There, and it's a
Oh,
picture, I'm assuming, of her and her husband. But yeah, I sent it in the chat, so take a
See,
listen. We'll talk about it after some other episode, maybe, or in the future, or just we'll chat about it. So some recent feats that they've accomplished. So Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars actually had the Die with a Smile be the fastest song to cross over 2 billion streams. Something that's like very bold and kind of like competitive in a way and inspiring is those that actually release on the same day as Gaga. Like I know some people that are like, they would switch dates around and whatnot. I think Taylor Swift has done that. Sometimes, you don't want to mess with other people's like
yeah, that's
launch days
brave,
and
to be
whatnot.
honest. Very
Um,
brave.
yeah, no, I think it's cool. It's cool that like, everyone's shining. Everyone has their stories, everyone could release whenever. I just think it's like really brave because it really puts in the competition of like, oh, like, is it possible that like who is it, Jenny? Jenny might get like number one. Will she get number two? Like, I don't know. It hypes it up. We'll see how Mayhem numbers do. In my mind, I was like, whoa, will she get like millions? Because I think it's like what, 2 million, 1 million is usually like the highest range Taylor Swift did. But we'll have some fact checker moments. So, according to Billboard Music News, an article published in April 30th of 2024, so there's only been 26 times that an album has sold over 1 million copies in a tracking week. Some notable people are Taylor Swift, Adele. 25th was ranked at Norah Jones. Will Mayhem make the list? I don't know, but help a girl out. You better stream.
honestly, I'm kind of wondering about the numbers on streaming in terms of being able to drop your song on another day that another huge artist is also dropping a song.
Mm-hmm.
Because I woke up and I listened to Lady Gaga's album, and then I listened to Jenny's album right after, the Who's Going Solo from Blackpink. And
Yeah,
it was only because it was just such a big day for music. I was just kind of sitting.
Yeah.
And so I listened to her whole album almost singularly because she just got caught in my music like loop in the morning. I'm sure that it's probably not good in terms of competing for like the charts, like higher rank, but in terms of the amount of streams that she gets, I mean, I could see an argument for, it maybe helping the
right.
streams
Yeah,
themselves. Like, oh, she's
Yeah, all
competing with
around
Gaga.
for
Like, yeah,
collectively.
sure. A lot of
Everyone's
people
shining.
listen to music in like playlists, and like
Yeah.
those playlists for like today hits or whatever, like they're gonna have like Gaga songs and then other new songs too. So for sure those people get a little push as well because of that. And I also feel like these artists like that are released the same day, they're not competing with Gaga in the sense of like they will all be honored if Gaga like tops the chart. You know what I mean? Like it's just like different levels.
Yeah, right now she's number 2 on Spotify in the world. She's
Yeah.
really making moves, and number 1 is Bruno Mars, so they're really popping off. So last question for this intro section. So from our first couple listens of the album, so does this album make your top 3 for her favorite eras?
Yeah, I'm a little biased right now, obviously, because I'm in the heat of the moment with this album, but I think so. I don't think it's my top one, at least as of right now, but it's might be in the top three for sure.
wait, what's your top one?
No, top
Art
one.
pop.
What's your top one?
Art Pop is your top one?
That's
Art pop
Luke's.
is my top
That's my
one.
top one.
I think
Yeah.
it's the only right answer.
I agree. I think she straight up put like some sort of party drugs in Art Pop
And
when she
everybody
made it.
hated it. And everybody hated it at the time. So that's why it means like art is so subjective.
Like
Okay.
Aura has one of the
Oh,
most chaotic intros, but when I tell you that song has the best drop out of any
uh-huh.
song ever, like to me, it makes it the entire song amazing. And I know that the intro is like experimental, but cohesively, it is truly so good.
But you don't want to see me in my car playing manicure. It's like a danger to society and to traffic.
Yeah,
That's
Richard doesn't
hilarious.
want to see me in my car playing swine when I'm mad at him. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
So-
I'm just playing.
If I were to say my top three, it would be Harley Quinn. Definitely want to do a review episode on that album. I definitely love Joanne, and I guess Mayhem or Art Pop. Those would be competing for top three.
It's so hard to choose. They're
I
all so
know. There's so many
incredible
great
and unique.
albums.
Yeah.
Pero bueno.
Too. I definitely think Art Pop is my number one right now, only because I have a history. We have a relationship. Second, I would say Mayhem right now, because this list it is a fluid list. So three, I'm gonna say Harley Quinn.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
I know. I like the Fame, obviously I love, but I grew up with it, so it's just
I wouldn't know what to put on three between Born This Way and The Fame.
yeah. Born
I
This
mean,
Way
Born This Way is so
Born
good,
This Way and The
but
Fame Monster.
it's just so depressing. Like the ending is just so depressing to me. So I have to like kind of pivot
They're so-
away.
They're so dark and good.
No,
Yeah,
see,
I
Born This
know.
Way literally came out like in my peak adolescence. So I was like
Exactly.
coming out
Yeah.
of the closet. I was like having so much like angst. So when that came out, it was like this album is screaming everything about
It was for you.
Yeah, it was. It was like it was confronting.
Yeah, but Luke and I, when we met, he was heavily listening to art pop like all the time, and that kind of like
Our
resonated
Pop
with
is
me.
that girl.
All right, so we're gonna
That
start
girl
off with the video.
is-
I love this whole intro. It's like
Category is
the
This is
darkness. Yeah.
I love that hat.
Mhm.
I love how like you could tell like this is the light fighting back. That's how I interpreted like this whole like intro scene with the choreography. Like they're not gonna stand down.
So a lot of these dancers are like legendary dancers.
Mm-hmm.
This is straight giving like 90s like beat. Like it just makes me want to dance.
I think this one
I'm
is
so
her most
impressed.
classic sound, honestly, to me.
Yeah. I think this video is definitely my favorite from Mayhem that she's released.
Do you see Honey Balenciaga?
No,
Luke?
Yeah, I saw.
I had missed it prior.
Sorry, I'm trying to just look at all their faces. see
Yeah,
if
that's
I
a lot
recognize
going
more.
on, honestly. But
And can we talk about the choreo?
yeah, the choreo is like literally legendary.
Giving Bad Romance.
Mm-hmm.
I like
It's
the
like a nod
choreo.
to it. I love how
Yeah.
she opened her eyes like super like wide, like the red. And it's like oh, you're gonna rebel? All right, bring it. And then it's like they're showing off what they got.
I'm trying to understand this dynamic between like herself and Mayhem.
Oh, it's all her. It's just light, dark, demons.
So I'm like, is she just watching from a distance? And they have
I think
reference.
for this specific video, she's just like basically making them like dance against each other, and like whoever doesn't win dies.
To me, Mayhem is basically the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
Like, and there's even a part where she's like, "Sing for me," like in her song, and then
Right.
she's kind of doing the like operatic chord progression.
Mhm. That's my favorite part, the bridge.
Me too.
Oof, this part.
yeah. This is epic. This was like, all right, this is the showdown. This is like the peak showdown moment.
It reminds me
It's
of
also-
Smile too, when they're all crawling all over each other.
Oh yeah, Smile too.
Have you seen that, Ernesto?
No, I don't think so.
You have to
It's
watch
so
it.
good.
Send it
It's-
to me.
It's Smile, like that horror movie, except it's following a pop star.
Oh, but I
Okay,
can't
this
do
is like a
horror
heartbeat
films.
of the light.
Oh,
I like that back and forth.
It's like the body movements and like the lighting in this thing. It's like
Yeah.
a Renaissance picture.
Yeah,
and it got warmer, so it almost looks yellow now,
I
as
like
opposed
the
to
opera
white.
vibes she's giving in the background. And this whole like collective shouting, that was probably so cool to to do and scream like that. Bro, I'm telling you who's boss.
You know Gaga's back when she's just screaming for no reason.
Yeah,
Yes. I love when women scream.
not
Abby
in
just showed me
in,
an
you
Ethel-
know, in a good way.
No, like oh my god. No, like Ethel
Oh.
Kane in
Is
her.
there something
in her
you
new
want to tell
album.
us, Luke?
No,
Yes.
like I like when they just let out their female rage.
Damn,
in
she lost.
music.
She's admitting defeat right there at the
Oh.
end. She bowed down and then she's like, "Oh, I'm free."
Wait, okay, can we really quickly just see the beginning of the Die with a Smile music video? Because people are saying that Mayhem is in the beginning of that.
I think that's fake. Actually, yeah, let's
Yeah.
check it. Because
Yeah,
I also saw what you're saying, and then somebody else said that was fake, so let's check.
Okay.
I think it's fake too, but we might as well. It's right there. You can just type in Die with a Smile at the top, Richard.
Okay. And something else I wanted to point out that was like really fun. Nymphia Wind did her own little like not parody, but like mimicking of the music video of Abracadabra on social media. That was super cute.
There's this Filipino drag queen that basically made the Mayhem outfit from Abracadabra like that week, and I genuinely have no idea how they did
Is
it.
it plastic?
No, it's not plastique.
Uh,
I don't think that they're from not Drag Race Philippines, but they're a drag queen from Philippines. It was so good.
So where would Mayhem be? I never saw Mayhem.
it's a part when they like zoom out and like and you see like the camera equipment and stuff, and people were saying that she shows in as a shadow in the
All right.
dark, but I think it was
I
like
think
made up.
I think
Oh,
it's
it's
fake
a
too.
mannequin.
Guys, now that we're talking about Die with a Smile, can we talk about the Beast, Blade of Grass, and Die with a Smile as a sequence?
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
last three songs of the album is literally like a masterpiece.
But
Yeah.
like, okay, I've been sitting here trying to think about the track order. To me, those three songs have a complete tonal change in the way that they were produced. And so I'm looking at it and I feel like it's basically the timeline of kind of her relationship with her fiance to a degree. Because it's like she finished 5'2", kind of in a place where she was battling like the chronic pain and trauma and everything. So you have a disease, and then it's going into Abracadabra about like finding a magic again and like someone casting a spell on you. And so it's to me, it's like this is reflecting like them meeting, and then it goes into Garden of Eden and Perfect Celebrity about like trying to like deal with her own battles, like that are still obviously continuing, but then having somebody with you, because then it goes into like Vanish into You and goes through and kind of ends with them getting married and then dying with a
Hmm.
smile. So it feels like a chronological choice almost. And I might just be making
Yeah,
that up completely, but go ahead.
no, I definitely see like the ending being like a much more positive.
But I don't know. I don't know if Mayhem was actually in there for Die with a Smile. It looks like mannequins, but from the back, we can't really tell.
I
What do
really
you guys
don't think
think?
so. I think somebody like
Yeah.
made that up.
Okay, awesome.
It's the same thing with How Bad Do You Want Me, the song. People were saying that he was kind of giving Taylor Swift, and then people started saying that Taylor Swift is in the backgrounds of the song, but it's not true.
And we
Yeah,
actually mentioned that ourselves when we
I
listened to it
mentioned
on the
it
first
prior. I
try.
was like, does that not
Yeah,
sound like Taylor Swift in the back?
it
For I
does
think it
sound
was Daughter.
it does sound like her.
Was it Daughter? Or no, it was Bodyguard. It was Bodyguard. I definitely thought it was Taylor Swift at first, and I was like, it's not. Okay.
I was just gonna say the last minute of Killa is like something else.
Yes, so I definitely want to do an episode as well where we dive deep into Mayhem, the album, like the track list, like the songs, like the story arc. If any more music videos come out, like connecting it all. Now that we've reviewed the first, the second, and the third. Uh,
Yeah, let's see what comes next. There has to
yeah,
be
I'm
another video
excited.
coming.
There was some rehearsals of the choreography, so that was cool. Seeing the behind the scenes. Oh, let's just take a look.
Do you
Okay,
guys know
so
the whole drama with the choreographer?
no, tell us about it.
So Gaga has been working with Richard Squirrel, which is Richard Jackson is his name. Richard Squirrel is his Instagram name. Uh, but basically, he's been with her like since the beginning. Like he wasn't the choreographer during like the first few like big hits, but he was like the assistant of the choreographer. So he's been there from the beginning, and he's been basically like the guy that has choreographed a lot of her like most iconic stuff. But lately, like people have been complaining about like him and him being toxic in the work environment and like being like an
What?
annoying ass guy. So there was a lot of drama, and during the Chromatica Ball, a lot of her like old school dancers that have been with her since the beginning, like they didn't do the tour because of the choreographer. So now for this era, she got rid of him. And
That's awesome.
this choreography is by Paris Gobo, which is like this incredible choreographer. And like everybody's just very excited that she kind of let go of that guy.
Yeah, and I'm glad the choreography is very fresh. It feels very like organic and natural and like new. Yeah.
when this came out, that choreographer that got let go of, he was like, "Oh, that looks like my choreography. You guys copied me." Like he was trying to start, you know,
What?
like I feel like he was getting lazy lately. I feel like her his old stuff, like Bad Romance and all of that, like it's incredible. I actually don't know if he did Bad Romance, but like his older stuff is better. I feel like the later like Chromatica era like choreography wasn't as good. I don't know.
That was a tough.
I liked it. I really appreciated that it was released during the pandemic. It gave people
Oh, for sure.
something to distract themselves with, even though
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to like have it be like a dance album where everyone's like collectively like dancing and having a good time. I think, the virtual presence was very needed and people got to do dances from it. They got to like see Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga like do their performances with like the masks and like showing like safety precautions, but also like still continuing to like persevere and do their passions and their work, their jobs. Like I thought it was great.
Did you guys see in the press conference when the guy asked like what she said to Ariana Grande?
Yeah, she was
I
like, she
was
has no
like,
idea. That's hilarious.
I knew she was gonna say, "I have no idea," because I'm like, and then she said, "This really is a room full of little monsters," because of
Uh-huh.
course they're gonna ask the most like specific niche things.
How long do you think it took them to like rehearse all this? Like, 'cause this is legendary. Like seeing
Oh,
the behind the scenes to the
this
rehearsals, that's
takes
so
weeks for
cool.
sure.
She said the album took months, so it definitely didn't take years. So that's
And the fact that
exciting.
there was that many people inside that room and none of
Yeah,
this got leaked, not 1 ounce of this song got leaked until it came out. It was
that's
insane.
awesome. That's
I'm,
very,
I'm
very legendary.
like I'm sure all those dancers, first of all, are probably under crazy NDAs. But
Right.
Hmm.
as supposedly unenforceable as those are, I'm sure that they also just love her enough to not ruin it for
Right, right,
everyone.
yeah.
Was it Honey Balenciaga that you mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
was in the video?
Hmm
I've been
Yeah.
trying to find them, but
There is a part that I don't know if it's this video that like she comes out like talking to her or taking a picture with her. I don't know.
she's so cool. And the fact that, she made for pop artists, she made like what, top five for Billboard. I don't know. I think she maybe should have gotten a little higher. Pero bueno. That's a wrap for the behind the scenes. Just a little recommendation. Go check out Nymphia Wind. She did a little cute drag number to it. So, do you guys have any other comments, feedback, pointers you wanted to say before we
That's
wrap
it for
this up?
me.
All right,
No,
awesome.
that's it for me too.
Thank you so much for joining us for this review of the music video, and we're going to keep this energy going for episode 4. So we're actually going to be covering Lady Gaga's album, Mayhem. So until next time, take care. And also, Ernesto, you're welcome to join us if you can. No problem if not, but thank you so
For
much.
sure.
I really appreciate it. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Episode 3 was executive produced by Luke Reosti and Richard Brito. Accompanying music produced by The Survivalists, The Regents, Opticon Awakens cast, Morley Gray cast, and Soph. Edited by Luke Reosti. A big thank you and much love to Lady Gaga.
Special thanks to Ernesto Medina. Gracias.